What's up, fight fiends and forecasters? I'm Joseph, the host, and I am back for another full card prediction show. I know, you're all fired up. We're in Canada. The Canadian fighters are not winning fights. Well, this card, we're going to have some for sure wins for the Canadian fighters. I'm telling you, I got the locks. Locked in. Hit the last 9 locks. Now, I looked back at the lock tracker. I'm going to show you that right now. There's a couple hot streaks. I hit a 7 lock streak, 7 lock streak, 8 lock streak, 9 lock streak. Have yet to hit 10 locks. This week I'm taking 3 to get me to 12 in a row for the lock of the week. You are undoubtedly profitable if you're taking the lock of the week bet each and every week. I give it out for free each and every week. So if you're new, you should subscribe. I've been proven that week in and week out, not only do I have an edge, I might be one of the best forecasters, cappers in the game. There's a lot of big channels out there, let me tell you. Now, if you want me to tell you and talk about all these big channels that had Whitaker, Michel Pereira, Tatsuru Terra, the list goes on. Those are some big ones. And, yeah. There is not much to say. Hamzat smashed Whitaker. The locks smashed again. And people were picking against them. That's cool. People can do what they want. But I'm here to tell you what I'm doing each and every week. We're on a heater. And I'm not giving up, losing confidence, and not being consistent in Canada. Let's go. I'm Canadian. If you don't know, I'm Canadian. From Prince Edward Island. The smallest province in Canada. And I'm out here doing the damn thing. So let's do it. First fight of the night. We got 14 fights. And I'm going to prove to you again, I am one of the best. Predicting these fights, handicapping these fights. Because I don't have high confidence on each and every fight. On this type of card, you could flip a coin on over half of them. Right? So don't listen to me and go bet on each and every fight. You got to listen. That's what you have to do. I'm not betting on each and every fight. I'll tell you that right now. I'm betting on about 3. And then taking a degenerate gamble on my underdog of the week. They've been unsuccessful. 40% rate for 2024. You're not profitable taking my dog of the week. That's what it is. You're profitable if you're fading the dog of the week. But I got one. I took 2 last week and it did not go my way. Not at all. Not really close. So I got 1 this week. Last time I took 1, it was Darren Elkins. He moved to the favorite. This guy is not moving to the favorite. I'm telling you that right now. He is probably winning, though. And he's probably getting it done by knockout. I'll let you know on this full card prediction show. Stay tuned. I got the locks. We got 14 fights, a ton of Canadians. And I'm telling you, I am telling you, a lot of these Canadians are going to win. I think the judges might be a little bit biased on a card like this. You look at the other card there, a lot of Canadians lost. So don't go and fade each and every one. I don't think you're going to be profitable fading each and every Canadian fighter. I might even have to be biased and just take the Canadian fighter in some of these fights I think are close. Now, the first fight of the night, which is now on my screen, the first fight of the night, it could change, is Youssef Zalal and Jack Shore. Entertaining fight here at featherweight because Youssef Zalal just got cut from the UFC and came back, and he won his first fight by submission against Billy Q in round 2, but his last fight was a round 1 submission. He did not need much time at all. He was very dominant, and I do see him being dominant again. You look at Jack Shore, his only 2 losses, which are pretty recently here as well. He lost 2 out of his last 3 fights, both by finish. He got submitted to a guy like Ricky Simon, was able to take him down, control him. You look at his last fight, he got taken down a bit and controlled as well, but then his leg got split open. It was a doctor's stoppage, a cut on his shin. He could not continue. That tissue could still be soft, and it could open up pretty easily again in this fight. It's a quick turnaround, only 5 months, and I think it's because the UFC wants Youssef, the Moroccan Devil Zalal, to look dominant once again. Like, he had the closest fight potentially with Ilya Topuria, who's looking untouchable right now. He just knocked out Max Holloway. All right. Youssef Zalal probably gets pretty close to a title shot. He definitely breaks the top 10 of this division. He's 15-5. It's misleading with the record, but you look at the Tapology rankings, Youssef Zalal is ranked higher. He's a better grappler. He's a better striker. He is better everywhere in this fight. Another advantage for Youssef Zalal, he trains in Denver, Colorado. You gotta like the Factory X gym. Brandon Royval, this guy's coming in as a minus 250 favorite. It's the right side. I expect money to come in here. Both these guys is the same age. And Youssef Zalal, in my opinion, his ceiling is much higher. He not almost beat, he went to a decision with Ilia Topuria. But there was definitely some potential in that fight. We might get to see it ran back sometime, but we need the Moroccan Devil in this fight to continue what he's doing. Right? He finished his last how many opponents since getting cut from the UFC? There's definitely a chip on this guy's shoulder. He can get it done by knockout. He can get it done by a submission. I wouldn't be too technical on how I'm looking to bet the props on this one when you know who's going to win, right? So the next fight of the night, we got a Canadian, and I have to potentially flip a coin. You got Jamey-Lyn Horth, 35 years old. She's an older fighter. Hasn't fought in a while. But she's going to have a little bit more power. She's a little bit more durable. She has a little bit more experience. She has a little bit of biasy with the judges in her favor, I would say, in this fight versus a Croatian Ivana Petrovic. And she won her last fight. She submitted Na Liang. Jamey-Lyn Horth, the Canadian, lost only 10 months ago, so not a big layoff for her. To Veronica Hardy, split decision. It was a sketchy scorecard. You probably could have gave it either way, but Jamey-Lyn Horth can get taken down a bit. She can get controlled a bit. It's a women's fight. I wouldn't bet on this one at all. Super low confidence pick in this one. Super low confidence. If you're betting it, it better be the very last leg of that parlay. I'm serious. She's way too big of a favorite, Jamey-Lyn Horth, for how confident I am in her to win. I would not touch it with a pole. Not the North Pole, not the South Pole. You stay away from this one here. And the next fight, you stay away. I'm looking to stay away on the bets for a while from here on out. I'm being honest here. I don't need to talk about these too long. Get into depth. You got Cody Gibson and Chad Anheliger. Both these guys got to win. Now one of them's going to lose. Now both of them are older in their careers, have a lot of fights under the record. Anheliger gets submitted a lot. Gibson has good takedowns, can get that submission. I can totally see a world where Cody Gibson gets that submission. If he doesn't, he gets the unanimous decision win with the control and takedowns in this fight. But you have a guy, Chad Anheliger from Canada. Hard to go against him because this could be his last fight. And he's from Alberta. The fight card is in Alberta. I gotta think he has that extra motivation to win this fight if it is close. He is the better striker in this fight. It's tough to say that, but he is slightly the better striker in this fight with more power and more tools in the bag to win on the feet. He can mix it up. He has a couple knockouts on the record. I don't think that's out of the question. I don't think that's crazy. Chad is tough. He's an underdog. He's Canadian. Give me the Canadian boy from Alberta. I don't want to break it down too long. I might get to a bet on Chad Anheliger, the underdog here. It's a low confidence pick. He's a pretty big underdog, but it won't be a heavy one. I think Cody Gibson could easily win the fight as a favorite, and he could easily get that submission as well. It's a low level fight at bantamweight. One of these guys is making an exit from the UFC after a loss here. Both these guys have suffered a lot of losses in their last couple fights. Both coming off a win recently, but I'm going with the Alberta-born fighter. Fight cards in Alberta. That's about it. Let's see what happens here. Maybe he gets the knockout, makes it look easy. But you know I'm not confident in Chad Anheliger. I'm just not. How can you be? Honestly. You can't. You can't be confident in either side. If you're confident in Cody Gibson, this guy is going to struggle to make it to 135, have a tough weight cut. And the tough weight cuts for these fighters is potentially some of the reasoning behind why they lose and why they get knocked out so easily. The weight cuts are devastating for some of these fighters. And Cody Gibson is one of those guys. I think it's a tough weight cut. Chad Anheliger's short. He makes 135 no problem. Another fight at 135, we got a debuter. He's not debuting, but he's pretty new. He's green as fuck. Serhiy Sidey. And he's Ukrainian, Canadian. He's a good striker. Don't get me wrong. But he almost won his last fight in a rematch. More UFC experience. Garrett Armfield here. Pretty big underdog again. He beat Brad Katona unanimously 9 months ago. He beat a very good fighter in Brady Hindstand. He was about to in his last fight, and then he got submitted. So, I mean, I don't know how good Garrett Armfield is, but as an underdog, beating Brad Katona, knocking out Kazama. Kazama, he's not very good, but he lost to Ronnie Lawrence, Matteo Vogel, David Onama, Brady Hindstand. He lost by a submission twice, 3 times, and Ronnie Lawrence took him down and controlled him, but I don't trust this Canadian as a favorite. As a favorite, no. As an underdog, maybe. Maybe. As a favorite, I see him losing this fight, honestly. He knocked out a guy 6-2, 15-13. He beat a guy 3-0 by unanimous decision on the regional scene out in BC. He lost a unanimous decision. Matteo Vogel showed that he can survive better than Garrett Armfield could, right? Armfield got submitted to Matteo Vogel round 2, so maybe I'm on the wrong side. I am originally on the Garrett Armfield side as an underdog. I'm him and Han here. I don't have a ton of confidence in either guy. Serhiy, the better striker. Armfield, the more credible experience, better gas tank, more proven. We've seen more out of him so far. He lost a fight in his last one that he was potentially winning. I don't know. I'm going with my gut. Armfield. He wins this fight. Decision win. In Canada, he beat Brad Katona unanimously. Look at the numbers. He's probably going to win this fight. I'm going to go with the original pick here, Garrett Armfield, but I don't feel great about either side in this one. That's for sure. And I'm sorry if you wanted a solid pick on that one, but can't do it. Won't do it. There's no confidence in this fight, in the last fight. All these fights are low confidence. They're below 55% confidence level. And I was dead ass serious when I said we can bring out a coin and just flip a coin for some of these fights. This would definitely be one I'm flipping a coin on. And next up, we got 2 heavyweights going to work. I love to see it. 2 guys that are probably taking this fight 15. Romanov, underdog, better wrestler, better grappler, could get the submission, but likely lays on top of Rodrigo, Nascimento in this fight. Smothers him. 15 minutes if he has the cardio. Probably tries to submit him at some point. The underdog plus 100, plus 110. I'm taking that. Heavyweight, Romanov. I just think he's a little bit better. Nascimento had a chance to beat Derrick Lewis, and he did fucking nothing. He did nothing. He came off the juice, and he beat Don Tail Mays, and that was close. That was too close. And then he beat Alir Latifi split decision, Tanner Boser split decision. Like, come on. What are we doing here? He's the favorite, just a slight favorite, but there is a world where people are predicting this fight, capping it, handicapping it out there, big YouTube channels, and they like Nascimento. I don't at all. Not at all. King Kong, Alexander Romanov gets it done. 17-3. You see a different version of this guy each and every fight. But he lost to Jailton Almeida, Volkov, Tybura, majority decision. And that's the fight where he lost, majority decision. I like that one. He went 15 minutes competitive with Tybura, a guy with a great cardio, great IQ. So I think Romanov has the better fighter's IQ to win this fight, and he is underdog. And he is the underdog. Wow. He won 2 fights out of his last 6. He's not doing great. Different version from him each and every time, but he beat Chris Daukaus in grappling, unanimous decision. He beat Blagoy Ivanov, unanimous decision. Chase Sherman, Americana round 1. There is a world where he can get a nice submission win here. Let's not forget about 2020, where he beat Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, a fighter that is very similar to Nascimento. He got the forearm choke in that fight, round 1 as well. So, round 1 submission? Very likely. Forearm choke, Americana, a bunch of round 1 knockouts, rear naked choke, another forearm choke, another forearm choke. King Kong by forearm choke in this fight. Probably round 1 because he does not like going 15 minutes. He could go 15. Plus money. You got to be pretty safe and just hammer it, I think. But we'll see what I get to. Haven't done anything yet on this fight. I seem to be pretty confident in Romanov. Let's check out Nascimento one more time. I don't know if he's been submitted. He has 2 losses at this point in his career. Knocked out in Derrick Lewis in his last fight. Knocked out to Chris Daukaus round 1. So maybe a knockout for Romanov. It's not out of the question. You got to be safe when you're playing the props. Ladies and gentlemen, I can bet on each and every play I want. At the end of the day, you got to hammer the spots that you have confidence in, and you got to lay the juice. Put enough money on it that you're profitable at the end of the night. Sometimes you go and chase all these bets. The bankroll adds up. You hit 1 or 2, and it's just not profitable enough. If you're putting 20 units down and spreading it out, might just be better to put 10 units on one smacking bet if you're super confident. So think about how you're playing with your bankroll. Some betting advice as well here, because I see people trying to be sharp. Their bankroll is way too high for what they're trying to do here. If you want to have fun, go with a small bankroll so you can do the parlays. Quarter unit, half unit is only $12, $5. So 1 unit could be $10, 1 unit could be $25. So then you're doing long shot parlays, a bunch of prop bets, because it's only costing you what, $5, $10? So depending on your bankroll management, your unit size, you can make a bet on each and every fight, each and every prop that you think's going to hit, and you can go super heavy on the locks, the picks that you have high confidence in. It's just a tough world to go and try to be profitable if you do not have a bankroll management system or a unit size. I'm telling you right now. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, direct message me. I have a whole thing about bankroll management in my Discord. It's free. Hit the link in bio below. I want some of you guys to check that out and see if you can get yourself onto a real bankroll management system where you're playing with unit sizes and not just wasting your money each and every weekend. I do this for real. I'm being professional. I do sit here and have a drink. Some shows I bring out the Pink Whitney. We have some fun. We go for a smoke break. But listen, I am professional. I've been very profitable over the last 3 events. I've made 35 units on the last 3 events. Me saying that I want to be one of the best, I could be one of the best, I very well could be. Profiting 35 units on my bets on the last 3 events. I looked at some of these cappers' picks that have handicapped the UFC over the past couple of years, and I've only been doing this the last 2, 3 solid. We're still pretty new to the game here. Not even at 1,000 subscribers, right? So I've been doing a lot of work. I've been catching an edge. I've been proving myself, and I am not stopping. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I got some good betting advice as well. So direct message me if you want some more information. I answer some people, but right now, man, so busy. There's been a lot of messages, a lot of comments to get back to. I'm sorry if I can't get back to everybody. I'm doing my best. But between work, running my own construction company, doing the Fight Fiend forecast, playing rec hockey, there's a lot on the go. There's a lot on the go right now. So get on the Bankroll Management system. Start winning money. And if you want to see my bets and how much units I'm putting down on these bets, it's $5 a month. That's all that I ask. $5. $5 is a half unit bet if you're betting with $10 one unit. That is a small ass bet. $5 for the whole month as well. You're getting 3-4 events, the picks, the bets, the forecast forensic. Now look at last week. Look what I put out for last week. Yes, those were the confidence levels versus implied probability that the books had. We had an edge on a lot of fights. I'm not lying to you. So $5 a month, pretty cheap. Cheaper than anyone else I know out there doing it. Stop being degenerates. Stop losing your money each and every week. And stop listening to these big channels. We will get there. Believe in the Fight Fiend forecast. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Crack a happy dad. Let's get to it. We're not even done with the prelims yet. We didn't even go out for a smoke break yet. We're still heating up. We're still heating this thing up. You only got one lock so far, if you're listening. So, let's get straight to it. Let's get down to business, baby. We got some very important fights coming up. And yeah, Jasudavicius is my favorite women's fighter in the division. By far. She is fighting for your money each and every time you put money on her, win or loss. Word. On the other side, you got a girl who in the division has probably been knocked out the most. She has a lot of knockout losses on the record, Ariana Lipski, and she gets hit a lot. She gets taken down a lot, and when she gets taken down, she can get controlled. In Canada, she will get controlled to Jasudavicius, the better wrestler with better control, more volume behind those strikes, and more power. And a lot more power, velocity behind those shots. She is vicious. She will fight for your money. I don't like taking these women's fighters with such high confidence, let alone locking them in. But she's a favorite. Minus 250 nearly. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to lock it in. I think she is a much better fighter than Lipski. It's in Canada. You can't overcomplicate some of these fights. She dominates. From pillar to post. Let's get paid. You don't need to hear a whole rambly, shitty fucking breakdown. If Jasmine loses this fight, I would quit doing predictions. I am so confident that she puts the pace on Lipski. She hits Lipski where it hurts. Right in the kisser. Right in the lips. And gets it done. She could get the finish. She beat a girl, Priscilla Cachoeira, dangerous striker, who knocked out Lipski. She didn't only beat her, Jasudavicius. She didn't only beat her. She dominated her. Submission. Win. She has good grappling. She can defend those submissions from Lipski, if that's your worry. No problem. Lock it in. Canadian. Gets it done. Jasudavicius. And if you think this is a close fight, just because it's a women's fight, just do your research. Please, just do your research. I've seen both of these girls fight their last couple fights. And let me tell you, I swear, if Jasmine does not show up in Canada to fight and win, I'm going to hang them up. I'm going to stop predicting fights until 2025. Seriously. Like, she dominates pillar to post. We're getting fucking paid. There's 2 locks. Youssef Zalal, Jasudavicius. Let's go. And the next fight is a low confidence pick. Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. It's a coin flip. Literally. Figuratively. And I don't have a coin on me. Anywhere's in this room. But if you do, flip the coin. Don't bet on this fight. I'm taking the Canadian, Charles Jourdain, knowing he's probably not the better fighter. You know? He needs to finish in this fight, I think. Victor Henry has all decision losses. So I got to take Charles Jourdain to win a decision in Canada, knowing it's going to be close. Knowing it's a coin flip. Knowing Victor Henry just knocked out Rani Yaha. Looked pretty good 5 months ago. And beat Tony Gravely. Split decision. Has some momentum. He did lose, though, to Asun Sao unanimously 2 years ago. Asun Sao's a bit old. Jourdain lost his last 2 fights, one being a split decision in Canada, the other getting knocked out pretty bad to Jean Silva 3 months ago. So if his chin holds up, Charles Air Jourdain gets it done here. Unanimous decision. No, not even unanimous. Not even unanimous. Split decision. Victor Henry probably wins around here. It's a coin flip. It could go either way. I'm not betting it. And Google says you need to check the... I can't connect to the Wi-Fi network. You might want to check the connection settings in the Google Home app. And Google is going off right now, so it's time for the final fight on the prelims because it's a low confidence pick again. And we're going for a smoke break after this one. You got 2 locks, though, and that's all you really need. You lock in, you take 2 fights you're super confident in, you hammer it. If it doesn't hit, you come back here, you give me hell. You give it to me. Because there's not much love to give to the underdogs, Lipski and Jack Shore. If you're giving them love, credit to you. I have a Jack Shore card here. Do you want it? It's a 10 out of 99. So if anybody predicts Jack Shore to win versus Youssef Zalal, just to win, with hashtag F3. Just tell me Jack Shore is going to win. Put the hashtag F3. And if you're right and Jack Shore wins, you get this card. 1 out of 99 Jack Shore from 2 years ago. So this is a pretty valuable card at this point, especially off a win to a guy that had a very close fight with Ilia Topuria. If you want the card, comment hashtag F3 and just say Jack Shore's getting the win here. Getting it done. All right, there you go. You don't like the locks? You're so confident? Take the free numbered card if he gets it done. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. We got the prelim headliner. We got Aiemann Zahabi. He's all right. 11-2. He's a little bit old. Pedro Munoz. A little bit old too, but he is very well equipped and experienced. He looked good against Sean O'Malley in that fight before the no contest. He even won round 1. So, super tough fight for Zahabi, who won his last 4. You see a guy with a bunch of wins. He's either legit, the real deal, or he's about to get not fraud checked, because he's not a fraud. He's decent, but just a tough test, a step up in competition that he cannot pass. Is this it? Maybe. The bookies have Pedro Munoz as the favorite. I've went against a couple Canadians already. I don't want to go against many. I might even have to go back and take Serhiy Sidey there against Armfield. Might have to switch that pick, but almost took Victor Henry too, right? So very low confidence. You know what I'm doing here. You know what I'm doing. Where's the Canadian flag? Canada sweeps the card. Canada sweeps the card. You heard me right. So that means we're getting rid of Garrett Armfield. Get out of here, boy. You're gone. You're gone, buddy. Aiemann Zahabi gets it done here. He's from Montreal. 2 years younger. 2-inch reach advantage. Momentum on his side, winning his last 4 fights, beating Ricky Turcios, Javid Bashrat, giving Javid his first ever loss. You got to think the confidence is high for Zahabi. He's very technical, high IQ, and Pedro wins versus guys like Chris Gutierrez. Unanimous decision win there. Gutierrez, a little bit overrated, relies heavily on those low kicks. So a win there. It is what it is. He lost every other fight recently. He won one fight out of his last 5. All unanimous decision losses. He lost to Marlon Vera. High-level competition, but he lost to Kyler Phillips in his last fight. And there's not much confidence to have in Pedro as a favorite. He's 38. He's fighting a Canadian who, in my opinion, is technically better, has a better IQ, seasoned, in my opinion, has a great coach, great team behind him, tough to go against as an underdog. You got to take that plus money, I think, because, Pedro, he's not fighting for your money. He just is not. Pedro Munoz is probably not going to get you paid as a favorite if you're locking him in, if you have him on some big parlays. What are you doing, boy? And there is some girls here, too. If you're a girl and you're taking Pedro Munoz, if you're a mother listening and you're trying to support your family off some favorites, this ain't the guy. Pedro ain't that guy. Vote for Pedro no longer. Aiemann Zahabi, underdog, plus money. I'm not saying hammer it. I'm saying it's probably the right side. That's all I'm saying. It's smoke break time. Everybody relax. Have some fun. This fight card is not one to parlay and go heavy on. I mean, I'm going heavy on a lock bet, that is for sure, but you'll figure that out. Everything else is very, very low confidence. I hardly care about some of these fights, being honest. We are looking pretty weak. We have not been winning fights. That could be a problem on this card for me, right? I have a lot of Canadian fighters to win on this one. They have not been winning. That means I could have a terrible week of picks. Rip the bong, rip a joint, rip a beer, rip a happy dad. Relax. We're going to get paid. If you're looking to get revenge, you just seen me on a heater and you're like, okay, this is him. This is the guy that's going to save me. All right? Settle down, settle down. Have a drink, have a smoke. I'll be back in a minute. And we're back for the main card. And we got the first fight on the main card to talk about. Mike Malott, Trevin Giles. Mike Malott coming off a loss to Neil Magny in round 3, where I don't know if he got fraud checked, but he definitely fought someone too high caliber for him. It was a big step up in competition. Now he takes a step down. Trevin Giles, no problem. The problem. 6 wins. Actually, 6 losses. 6 finish losses. 3 knockout losses. 3 submission losses. Dude is finishable. Finished in every loss. In a fight where Mike Malott is the favorite, I think Mike Malott gets the finish. Coming off a loss, you can't sit here and tell me the UFC matchmakers are like, hey, Mike Malott, he was on a run, all finish wins, submitted 3 opponents out of 4, including Contender Series and his 3 fights in the UFC before the loss. He submitted 3 out of 4 opponents. Knocked out 1, Mickey Gall, was good at the submissions. But now you got a guy, Trevin Giles, he's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 3 times. I think we see Mike Malott go back to the submission. He needs a win. He had dominant positions against Neil Magny in round 1 and 2. So in round 1 and 2, he finishes Trevin Giles on home soil by submission. And he is a much better fighter. He's training at Team Alpha Male as well. Made a change of gyms. He's also at Niagara Top Team. He has good cardio, but he won't need it. This fight's not going too long. Trevin Giles, he lost his last 2 fights. He's the same age as Mike Malott here. Ceiling is not very high. He got knocked out in his last fight as well to Carlos Prates. Submitted to Gabriel Bonfim. Quick and early. Split decision win to Preston Parsons. And he beat, of all guys, Louis Cosse. Like, come on. Former police officer, pardon me, but the problem is no problem in this fight to get finished, to lock against. I think Mike Malott runs through Trevin Giles, dominates him, finishes him probably round 1 or 2. He could knock him out, but I'm calling the submission for Mike Malott. One by guillotine, one by arm triangle, another by guillotine. The last time Trevin Giles got submitted was by guillotine. Guillotine win. Mike Malott. Be smart. It's a proper play here. It's the right thing to do. Get paid. Lock them in. You got 3. And that's all you need in Canada. So many sketchy fights. So many fights that I'm hardly breaking down in depth because you could flip the coin. They're low confidence picks. Hardly care about them. All of them likely go the distance. And you need to rely on the judges' scorecards. In this fight, no judges needed. Mike Malott, if you can't beat Trevin Giles, get out of the UFC, brother. This guy has 6 losses, all by finish. His last submission loss comes by guillotine choke, and that's how you won 2 out of your 3 last submissions. This is a given fight for you. This is a matchmaker's dream in UFC Edmonton right here. I'm telling you. This is it. To start off the main card, this is the guy. And the next 4 fights hardly matter. You can have some fun with it. You're going to need this next guy, though. Marc-Andre Barriault against Dustin Stolfus on a parlay. Leg 2 or 3. He's up there because he's the more durable fighter. He had a close fight with Anthony Hernandez, and Dustin Stolfus is another guy that gets finished a lot. Knocked out more often than not recently. Knocked out to Abus, knocked out to Bruno Fieda. And I don't think his striking is great. Marc-Andre Barriault, his striking is good enough. His grappling is good enough. He's well-rounded everywhere. He's a type of fighter that very well-rounded, very durable. He's just a fighter. And Dustin Stolfus, he seems like a showman. It's submission or bust. I can't trust that. I can't bet on that either. I can't even predict him to win with serious confidence. You look at his wins, they're by submission. He could get a submission win, but Marc-Andre Barriault did not get submitted till round 3 with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Fluffy struggled in that fight, showing you Marc-Andre Barriault is no bitch. The power bar has power in the hands. He almost beat Chris Curtis, split decision 9 months ago. He lost his last fight to Joe Pyfer. No harm, no foul. You got knocked out. Happens. It's Joe Pyfer fish. Big Joe Pyfer fish. Happens. 3 months ago. Off 2 losses now. 1 9 months ago. 1 3 months ago. Like I said there. He's due for the win. He is due for the win here. Stolfus only lost his last fight. Not as much motivation to get back into the win column. And, he just beat Punahele Soriano. Submission win. He beat Dwight Grant. Unanimous decision. Dwight Grant is 11-5. I don't think he's near the caliber of Marc-Andre Barriault, who beat Eric Anders. Unanimous decision. And then right before that, knocked out Julian Marquez. Pretty bad. He has power in the hands. He has technical boxing and striking. He's smart on the ground not to get submitted in this fight. In Canada, I think this is another matchmaker spot. Almost a dream fight. You get a good, competitive fight. Potential finish on either side. But likely on the side in which they want to see win. The minus 200 favorite fighting in Canada. Marc-Andre Barriault getting his hand raised. Maybe knocking out Stolfus. He's been knocked out in his last 2 fights. That's not out of this world. I think it's within reason that the power bar finds a knockout. If not, unanimous decision win, right? I have a unanimous decision on the picks, but looking at the props, looking at the plus money, it gets intriguing to bet Barriault by KO, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm a gambling man. I make quarter unit bets, half unit bets, and I'm not betting $50 half unit, so I'm not betting heavy if I'm doing a half unit bet. They're just small bets. If I'm betting heavy, I'm putting 15, 20, 30 units down. I'm going heavy. I'm putting hundreds down, believe me. That's when you see the big units go down. That's why my unit size is comfortable for me, and that's why it should be comfortable for you. So hopefully everybody learned something from this video and listened closely. I gave some good betting advice, and I'm proving that I have an edge on these fights. And sometimes having an edge is just knowing that some fights are too dangerous to bet and just to stay away. Not betting on fights that are close is, in my opinion, having an edge, because I'm going to ask you one question right now. Don't get offended. How many of you lost money on Petrovic Oralby, one of my least confident picks last week? I said I might even bet Mateusz Rebecca. Listen back. I'm not joking. I know what I said. And I know what Nate Brown said. NBMMA. He knows his stuff. Sharper than Babar. And he's the one that left Discord because of Babar. So, Nate Brown, I respect the guy. I want him back in the Discord. Everybody's welcome. There should be no slander going on. There should be no toxic energy between forecasters. It's us against the bookies. What are you doing, Babar? Babar's a bit of a... I can't say it out here, you know what I'm saying? But he's his own character. He's asking me when are the picks coming out? When are the picks coming out? Do you not have $5 if you want my picks and locks that bad? I already smacked a bet on these locks. $5 a month, and you're seeing like a couple $100 go down on one bet, let alone profit over 40 units on 2 events for $5 a month. You're missing out on a lot of profit, and you're not getting paid. You're still losing because you're disagreeing. Taking Tatsuru Terra, taking Michelle Pereira, taking Petrovic Oralby now. Jesus Christ, man. I sit on here, I be honest, do my predictions, I get on a heater. I continue to learn from my losses, improve. Some people see it, some people don't. Some people appreciate it, some people don't. The people that are listening, realizing the success, seeing the success, tailing along, getting paid. I hear yous. You're commenting, you're direct messaging me, thanking me. I appreciate that a lot. Some of yous, it's like, I'm just shaking my head. It's very disrespectful, but, you know, you should listen closely and put respect on my name. That's all I'm saying. I'm putting in the work. I'm being smart. And at this point, after some things that have been said, I am not being stupid on some fights. You know, I put a lot of money down on the Contender Series on a parlay. It didn't hit. I looked like an idiot. I'm going to be smart with my bets from here on out. And if you haven't noticed, we're on a heater. 9 locks in a row. My 3 locks this week. I mean, I don't know how much better you can get. Honestly. If you don't know by now, you better start re-listening or join for $5 a month. Massive bet going down. 15% bankroll on these 3 locks. We're going to 12 in a row. F3 for L. Brenson Ribeiro, Kyle Machado. Close fight. Machado, I don't think he's that good. He is formerly fighting out of Canada here, up in BC, but he fought at heavyweight. He's coming down to 205. He's looking like Slim Jim. Slim Shady. And I don't freaking know if he gonna survive. He gets hit a lot. I think Brenson Ribeiro is a powerful striker. Dangerous. He's been my underdog of the week twice. Not again. He is the dog in this fight, but not again. Can't trust him as the dog. Can't trust him with heavy money. But I can trust him with my pick. And I can predict him to win by knockout. It's a prediction. It might not go my way. But both these fighters aren't great. You know? One guy is more finishable than the other. Brenson Ribeiro being more finishable, I understand that. But Kyle Machado lost to Mick Perkin. Unanimous decision. And then he lost to Don Tail Mays. 10-6. I think Brenson Ribeiro could win a decision. You look at his last fight. Gadzia Sulov. The dog's going crazy, so I'm sorry for everybody. Benson knows Brenson's ready to go here. Gadzia Sulov, 8-0, was taken to a majority decision 4 months ago with Brenson Ribeiro. I thought right away this is definitely the dog of the week. And looking at it here now, on Monday, money's coming in. 80% on Tapology out of 1,000 nearly, picking Brenson Ribeiro to win. Benson's going crazy. You already know that. You can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it. Got knocked out. Then he had that majority decision. I mean, he could get knocked out again. His chin isn't that trustable, but I think he has power in the hands. He knocked out Bruno Lopez 11-0 in the Contender Series. Don't forget about that. He was a big underdog. If you're going to be betting on Brenson Ribeiro, goddammit, it better be plus money. I'm seeing that plus money. I'm going to do it. I'm probably getting to a bet on him, even though he's training that Brazilian TKO, and y'all know how good they are. Bruno Vieira, Bruno Silva, both dropped a bag last week. Pretty bad. I'm going to stick with the gym. But y'all know these boys at Brazilian TKO are not as good as we all think. They're just not. This guy's training there. He has a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. His last fight was a majority decision with Gadzia Sulov 8-0. And Machado lost unanimously to Dontel Mays 10-6. I gotta do it. I have to do it. Are you gonna do it with me? Please. Let's do it. Brenson Ribeiro. Not the dog of the week. Just a bet. Just a bet. Let's do it. And now we got the best fight on the card. The people's main event now. Derrick Lewis, 28-12, heavyweight fight here between Renato Danines. And there's one problem. Derrick Lewis is 39. He's getting older. There's not a whole lot of knockouts left for the knockout king, the Black Beast. And the dog's still playing with his bone, going crazy up there. You're seeing plus money on Derrick Lewis, and I don't understand it either. Honestly, if you're a Derrick Lewis fan, if you've seen this guy's career, you know not to go against him in this kind of fight. It's simple. He's fighting a Brazilian. Undefeated or not, he's fighting a Brazilian. And if this guy was younger, maybe, because he's undefeated, but, man, he's 33. He's been knocked out in kickboxing. In kickboxing. He's going to get knocked out to Derrick Lewis. Austin Lane couldn't knock him out till round 2. A football player. Unanimous decision win with a wrestler on the prelims 2 months ago. Yeah, he's going to step in and fight Derrick Lewis. UFC Edmonton. Why not? But he hasn't proved to me that he can get the knockout against this level of competition. He hasn't. He beat a wrestler on the prelims. Carl Williams. In his last fight. Like, what are we doing here? Seriously, I have an edge on this fight. 80% confidence in Derrick Lewis. Look at the plus money sitting there in front of you. Look at the plus money sitting there. I don't believe in this Brazilian guy. Less than 2 years ago, he beat a guy 11-8. And 1-0. 1-0 and 11-8. And you're going to trust in him as a favorite to knock out Derrick Lewis. Like, I'm serious. This guy could not knock out Carl Williams, a wrestler, to save his life. To save his life. Derrick Lewis is the play. He just knocked out Rodrigo Nascimento 11-1. You could say that guy's higher level than Renato Danines. He knocked out Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, flying knee round 1. Unbelievable. Unbelievable win there. He still has it. Less than a year ago. Just over a year ago. He got taken down continuously and got laid on top of by a quick Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida would eat Renato Danines alive, I think. And you know what I mean? I don't think Danines can beat this guy by a decision. It's 15 minutes. I could see Derrick Lewis winning this by a decision. He beat Francis Ngannou by a decision. He beat Blagoy Ivanov by a decision. He's won a couple fights by a decision. His last fight went to the 3rd round, where another couple minutes, it was going the distance. And Derrick Lewis had the striking numbers to win the fight. Derrick Lewis looks like he's cutting weight. It looked like he had a 6-pack in his last fight, and now he's an underdog. He could win this by a 15-minute decision, which would be crazy plus money. I'm going to hit that. He could win this in round 1 by KO. I'm willingly looking to hammer that. But knowing that he could win a decision, knowing that he could get the round 1 KO, round 3 KO, round 2 KO, you just take the plus 140, plus 150, whatever you see, and I think you hammer it because 80% confidence in Derrick Lewis is crazy when the implied probability is less than 40%. Unless I'm missing something, I don't think I am. I don't think Yanato Denines is that guy. I don't think he's that guy. He's been knocked out in kickboxing, and you look at it, wasn't that long ago since he's been knocked out. 2018, head kick, round 3, unanimous decision loss. 2017, knocked out in 2014. Hasn't been knocked out in a while. Won a bunch of fights, but he beat a guy debuting 1-0, 11-8, 1-0, 22-23. If you're listening to F3, you know I'm the real deal, because these stats are in front of you too. They don't lie. They don't lie. He just beat a guy on the prelims, a wrestler, in Carl Williams by a decision. I don't think he can do the same to Derrick Lewis. I don't think he can. I think he gets knocked out trying. If not, Derrick Lewis does more on the feet because his power is deadly. Now, if Denines tries to engage, he gets knocked out. But I think he's just scared. He's just going to be hesitant and not engage. It's going to be boring. Derrick Lewis might even mix in a takedown and lay on top of him, secure the fight, secure the win. But at the same time, in this type of fight, you expect a knockout. I'm taking Derrick Lewis. Knockout, round 1. Official prediction. If he gets a decision, I had forecasted that, but never pulled the trigger on the official prediction. That's a little crazy, I think. A small bet, if it's a good, sizable plus money play, if they're not giving you a good return on a small bet for Derrick Lewis' decision, don't do it, right? I do think the most likely outcome for him is a round 1 knockout. He knocked out De Lima round 1. He knocked out Chris Daukaus round 1. He took Curtis Blades to round 2 and knocked him out with an uppercut. And Olenek, a guy with 60 wins, took him to round 2. But recently, it was round 1 with Chris Daukaus, round 1 with De Lima, round 3, almost a decision win with Nascimento. It's round 1 KO or a decision win for Derrick Lewis for me. Hammer the plus money. Look at both props. I'll be back for the props and parlay show, though. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you a bet on Derrick Lewis on Friday. Definitely. Yeah, he's the dog of the week. If you don't know, now you know. Derrick Lewis, dog of the week. 80% confidence in him to win against this Brazilian who's 8-0. 8-0. You heard the level of competition he has beaten. His last fight was on the prelims. Now he's fighting Derrick Lewis on the main card. What are we doing? I know what I'm doing. For sure. 100% confidence in what my play is. It's 80% confidence in Derrick Lewis. Let's go. We got a women's fight, co-main event. Rose Namajunas, Erin Blanchfield. Blanchfield has wicked takedowns with that control. Potential submission for her on the feet. Rose is the better striker. And if she stops the takedown, she wins the fight. I would say it's 5 rounds. Favors Rose. Championship experience for Rose. And a girl that could still be the champion. She beat Weili Zhang, giving up her belt to Carla Esparza, who is now retired. So, Rose, she might be looking at that title thinking that could be hers still. 13-6 record, not great, but she is a great fighter. And you got to like Rose to like Rose. If you don't like Rose, you don't like the pick. But she has the experience and cardio in round 4 and 5. She does have a good takedown defense. On the feet, she is very good. You trust her heart and her desire to win. That's where my trust is with Rose. Because she's been through so much. You got to give her a little bit of slack if you don't like her. She will fight for your money. You've seen her fight through a broken hand. Not quitting. No quitting this girl. I wouldn't be relying on her to quit. She could get put in bad positions, but I think she will continue to fight, get back up on her feet, and be the better striker. I got to pick Rose. This could be the downfall of Rose at any point, but she's still young. Her record does not look great. Erin Blanchfield still learning as a young fighter. Good record. Can still afford a couple losses at 25 years old before she reaches UFC gold. But Cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield. She's a bad girl. She's a bad girl. And I'd like to see her win this fight and excel in the division. She is also one of my favorite fighters in this division. But Rose, all-time OG, GOAT of the division. I think she still could be the champion, and because of that, I'm going to pick her to win by a decision in this fight. Especially, definitely, solely because she is plus 105. Underdog money on a girl with championship caliber, championship level experience, and has a championship heart. Fights like a champion. She lost to Manon Fiorot, who is the future champion, I would say, but damn, Rose is still good. She beat Tracy Cortez unanimous decision in her last fight 3 months ago. She beat Rebaz unanimous decision 7 months ago. She's still good. Split decision to Weili Zhang. Head kick knockout to Weili Zhang. She has Weili Zhang's number. Weili Zhang is very good. So I gotta go Rose. Manon Fiorot, only recent loss for Erin Blanchfield. Other than that, she beat Talia Santos in a fight that is pretty close on the scorecards. Looking back at it, a little bit too close. Erin Blanchfield started to struggle with the takedowns in that fight, so I don't see her having success with those takedowns versus Rose Namajunas here. And she submitted a girl like Jessica Andrade. She submitted Molly McCant, Meatball Molly McCant, and submitted JJ Aldrich. So, level of competition favors Rose in who both fighters have fought. Rose has fought the much higher caliber girls, looking better, and winning fights. She's 13-6, but she has fought and lost to the higher caliber girls. Close fights, split decision loss to Carla Esparza. She probably didn't deserve to lose the belt over that, but she's hungry and still ready to go here. This is a good fight, only because it's plus money on Rose is why I'd be looking at a bet here. Thug Rose for the win. Might get to a bet on it. If you want access to see the bet that I might make, if I do get to one, $5 a month on Patreon. Pretty cheap. Cheaper than a lot of the bets you made that lost you a lot of money at the end of the day. Last card there. Might as well take the $5. Give it over to the Fight Fiend Forecast. Let me help you out. We got a lot of low confidence picks, and there's a lot of fights there's no need of betting on. Just a reminder about last week. Michael Bicoro by one of my least confident picks. 53% confident level in him to win. I would not bet him on any of the top tickets. He was below the top 8 fighters to win on that card. And people lost a lot of money on him. So, hate to see it. I hate to see it when I'm putting in all the work, letting people know what's up, and they ain't listening. But they can do what they want. We'll watch them suffer. We got to sacrifice a couple weak links, a couple sheep to get what we want. We want to get paid. We want to get paid. That's what we want. And if it takes sacrificing a couple lambs along the way, we'll do it. We'll do it. People got to lose money. We got to win money here at the Fight Fiend Forecast. I hate to do it, but I got to do it. I got to do it. There's a lot of fights I'm not betting on, but the ones I'm betting on, I'm sorry if you're going against me in advance. Brandon Moreno, Amir Albazi, what a main event fight this is in Edmonton. It's going to be a good one here. Another guy, another fighter that could be the champion still. He lost to Pantoja, split decision. He lost to Royval, split decision. I think Moreno was not his best and that he has more to prove, and he ain't done yet. I don't think he's a type of guy to give up on himself here. Off 2 losses. I mean, motivation is sky high to win this fight of all fights against a guy 17-1 on the rise, calling out a title shot. You got to get past me first, says the Mexican Brandon Moreno. With the heart, determination, he gets it done here. Decision win, probably a finish. Albazi, who has he fought? Right? Split decision to Kai Car France. If you thought he deserved it, truly, he won the fight. There you go. Alessandro Costa. I mean, that's not a great fight to go off going into a Brandon Moreno fight. The assassin, baby. Dude fought Figueiredo 3 times. Knocked out Kai Kara-France easily. Liver kick. Destroyed him twice. Beat him twice, I think. So, you're going to question him now. That's crazy. Albazi beat Zalgas Zumagulov and couldn't finish him. Zalgas Zumagulov. Cut from the UFC. So, Albazi, underdog now. Plus money. There has been a sharp bet, I would say, come in here on the assassin, baby. As I break it down, you would see why a sharp bet would have came in. He's a clear pick. If you really know what you're doing, if you're sharp, it's a clear pick. You're going to get paid because he lost 2 fights. He's getting back in the win column unless this is it. He's 30 years old. I don't think this is it. It's like the Brandon Royval and Tatsuro Terra fight. Exactly. Except you're not getting the plus money. Exact same breakdown. You got one guy who's fought the much higher caliber competition, win or loss. Win or loss. Higher caliber competition. Has been in 5-round fights almost every time. Great cardio. Well-rounded skill set. He matches what Amir Albazi has to offer everywheres. The Prince is going to stay the Prince because the assassin baby is the king. You heard it here first. If you're taking Albazi plus money, cash it out. Cash it out. Not a good bet. If he does win and you cashed out, I'm sorry, but I don't see it happening here. Dude is not that guy. I don't think he's getting it done here. 17-1. You look at the guys that he has beat on that win streak. It's not pretty. It is. I'm gonna tell you. He's a fraud. He's about to get a couple losses once he's fighting the top 5 in this division. For real. Training at Extreme Couture, training with high-level guys or not. I don't think he's that guy. 17-1. A little bit of no exposure on this guy. I already talked about some of the fights he won. Let's talk about another one. In 2022, Francisco Figueiredo submitted him in round 1. Okay. Deiveson Figueiredo's brother. Nothing like his brother. Dude's fucking shit. Deiveson Figueiredo, the champion, the guy that had to move up a weight class because he's a beast and he's getting bigger, he's good. His brother's not good. Brandon Moreno has beaten the real deal, Deiveson Figueiredo. Okay, let's keep going here. Unanimous decision loss to Jose Torres, 2019. Only loss was pretty recently. The wins before that, 11-9, 2016, 11-10, 2-0, 4-3, not available, not available, not available, debuter, 6-2 in Scandinavia, 6-1, Bellator, Jamie Powell, never heard of him in my life, 6-2, can't say his name, from Bellator, 2018. Ryan Curtis, 5-1, Brave FC. A lot of round 1 wins. No fights going deep. Round 4, round 5. Hasn't been pushed. Hasn't been tested. There is without a doubt at this point I will be betting Brandon Moreno in this fight in a little parlay. Not a lock of the week, but there is a parlay I'm looking to make. There's definitely a parlay parfait that I'm looking to make because last week I hit leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3. I'm going to make one up. I'm going to post it, let everybody know. Tune in for the props and parlay show. I'm going to have it ready for that. I got to think Brandon Moreno is near the top. Leg 2, leg 3, just like Marc-Andre Barrios. 2 fighters that are much better than their opponents. Everywhere's in this fight. Well-rounded, better experience, and have fought the better competition. Simple as that. Let's get these bags. Let's get paid. And I'm sorry if you're fading me. I'm sorry if you're going against me. We got to sacrifice some lambs along the way. There's been people disagreeing. It is what it is. Some people are winners. Some people are losers. $5 a month, Patreon access. See the picks early, confidence levels, forecasted percentage versus implied probability, each and every bet for $5. I don't know what you're doing. And if you haven't already left, make sure to subscribe. Let's get us to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that like button. Comment below. Help with that algorithm. And if you really, really want to fade, you want to disagree with a lock, here's one to disagree with. Jack Shore. Comment below you're disagreeing with Jack Shore. Put hashtag F3. And you're getting this card if Jack Shore wins. Maybe it's multiples. If it's multiples, we're going to do a draw for a Jack Shore 10 out of 99 card. I'll send it to you. If Jack Shore beats Youssef Zalal. First fight of the night. The underdog has been live. The underdog has been winning. It's looking like Youssef Zalal is the first fight of the night. And Carlos Leal looked pretty good. Almost won against Rinya Fakhretdinov. What are you going to do? I'm expecting to see a couple comments here on Jack Shore. Hopefully not, because I'm putting a 15% bankroll bet on the locks. Youssef Zalal, the Moroccan Devil, is a lock for Fight Fiend. Let's go. Let's get paid. It's time to put in the work once again. 9 locks in a row. I have not broken 9 locks. I've hit 9 locks in a row once this year. 7 locks in a row twice. 8 locks in a row once. Have never hit 10. I've had a lot of hot streaks. But in Edmonton, on home soil, Fight Fiend forecast not only hits 10, we hit 12. And then we look at 15. Potentially 20 in the future. But one step at a time. We're going to collect these bags together. I gave everybody the locks early. It's Monday. The last video was out on a Wednesday. Super late. I did the Conor McGregor. Said, sorry I'm late. I don't give a fuck. And then I had that mink coat. That was very good luck. It showed my confidence. I had an edge last week. This week, nothing changes for F3. I'm still sharp. I'm still being consistent. But if you disagree, if you're doing your research and you think some of these fights I'm capping incorrectly, that's completely fine to disagree. Do what you want. I'm not betting on each and every one. If you want to know what I'm doing, seriously, hit the link in bio below. It's only $5 a month.
This is not over.
Go get an orange juice or an apple juice. Go get an orange juice or an apple juice.